Jeez, you're such a genius at getting on my nerves, aren't you?
There's no need to put it like that.
Shut up. If it weren't for the kid, I would have divorced you ages ago.
As usual, my husband yelled at me with his fierce tone. How many times has this been now? Being oppressed by my husband every day? Naturally, I can't say our marriage life is happy. At least until our daughter graduates from university. With this in mind, I have held back all this time. But my body, honestly, can't take it anymore. It's screaming in protest. As my consciousness faded, all I heard was my daughter's voice calling me. A few hours later, when I woke up, what awaited me was an unimaginable reality. My name is Sophie Olsen, and I'm 50 years old. I live with my husband, Keaton, who's the same age as me, and our daughter, Ellie, who just turned 20. My husband and I both work full-time jobs, so financially we're not struggling. We've spared no expense on our daughter's extracurricular activities and education. Thanks to this, my daughter Ellie has grown up to be a sensitive and wonderful woman. She is currently studying psychology at university and working hard to become a licensed clinical psychologist in order to pursue her dream of becoming a school counselor. She is an honest and lovely girl with a financially comfortable life. From the outside looking in, one would think it was smooth sailing. But I have one concern, and that is my husband Keaton. We married out of love, but his lifestyle changed drastically when our daughter was in the 3rd year of junior high. The trigger was our daughter's entrance exam. On my husband's recommendation, Ellie was applying to a well-known private high school at the time. However, the result was unsuccessful. Already, Ellie had switched her focus to studying for the entrance exam for our local public high school, but after our daughter went to sleep, my husband started yelling at me.
Why does she fail? She studied so hard, didn't she?
There's no use in saying things like that, is there? There might have been factors like her condition on the day and her emotional state.
A mother's role is to support her child in every aspect, right? Jeez, because of you, our daughter.
Because of me?
Yes, because of you. It's your fault that Ellie's future is ruined.
That's... During exams, parental support is indeed crucial. But I've always made sure to prepare meals every day, take care of her health, and watch over her. Was there anything more I could have done? Considering it was her first exam, Ellie must have been nervous herself. Despite taking practice exams, the atmosphere on the actual day is different. No matter how much you study, you can still be overwhelmed by that atmosphere and not perform to your full potential. My husband should have experienced exams himself in the past, so why can't he understand that? Responsibility for support shouldn't just fall on me, but on my husband too. However, if I were to say such things, my husband's fiery temper would make him impossible to deal with. He doesn't show it in front of our daughter, but occasionally he reveals a devilish side to me. Since Ellie failed the private school entrance exam, I've been blamed by my husband every day. Ultimately, our daughter enrolled in the top local school. However, my happiness was short-lived. On the evening of the welcome ceremony, my husband coldly uttered words of disdain towards me.
Hey, you should cover all the expenses needed for high school from your income, okay?
Wait a minute. His words made me doubt my ears. Why just me? We've saved money together for Ellie's education, haven't we?
Shut up. That's only if she gets into a top private school. There's no way I'm using my precious savings for some ordinary public school.
My savings? We've saved that money together as a couple, haven't we?
Shut up. It's because of you that Ellie failed her exam. Take responsibility for that, you piece of trash.
My husband yelled at me and then forcefully threw the beer can he was drinking straight at me. The can hit my head forcefully and its contents splattered all over my clothes. My husband smirked at me as I stood frozen in fear. His expression to me was nothing but terrifying. 5 years have passed since then, After graduating from high school, our daughter got accepted into a prestigious national university. Though she could have lived in a dormitory, Ellie insisted on commuting from home, so we continued to live as a family of 3. One day, something happened. It had been a while since I went shopping with my daughter and had dinner at my favorite restaurant. I casually asked Ellie, who had just celebrated her 20th birthday recently. "Hey, Ellie, I asked you before your birthday, but is there anything you want?" "Well, not really, you know. I've always been given what I wanted whenever I wanted something." "But it's your birthday, so if there's something you want..." "Can I ask you something in return?" "Huh?" My daughter looked at me with an unusually serious expression. Feeling unsettled, I asked, "What's wrong?" And she looked straight at me. "Hey, Mom, are you happy right now?" "What's with the sudden question? Why would he ask that?" "Just answer the question. Are you happy with your life right now, Mom?" Ellie. I didn't even need to think about it. A stable life with a cute and beloved daughter. That alone should make me happy, but I couldn't clearly say happy to my daughter. I can't honestly say I'm happy until I can address my relationship with my husband. "Mom, what's wrong?" I was jolted back to reality by my daughter's voice. Ellie looked anxiously into my face, so I put on a gentle smile. "Ellie, don't say strange things, okay? With a wonderful daughter like you, there's no way I'm not happy." "Really?" "Of course. Seeing you grow up healthy, enjoying your university life, that alone makes me more than happy enough." "I see. Yeah, I understand. If you say so, Mom, I believe you." "Don't worry so much. As long as you, Ellie, are healthy and well, that's enough to make me happy." "Mom." My daughter had a face that seemed on the verge of tears, but she quickly averted her eyes and started playing with her phone. I didn't quite understand the intent behind her question, but I had to act confidently to avoid causing unnecessary worry. However, there were some things I kept silent about from my daughter. The first was the change in my husband's attitude since our daughter's high school entrance exams. The second is that my husband continues to abuse me, as he still does. And the third was the fact that my husband was cheating. Regarding the third point, it was nothing but my intuition. I had no evidence, nor had I actually witnessed him cheating. But somehow I knew. His return home started getting later about 2 years ago, around the time our daughter entered university. The overtime that was almost non-existent before started increasing day by day, and when he came home, he smelled like soap. As I was doing the housekeeping that day, I heard the front door open just after midnight. I greeted my husband as he entered the living room, but he ignored me as if nothing happened. As always, he smelled of soap. That smell again. He shouldn't smell like soap just from working overtime. Could it be he's cheating with someone? I felt uneasy many times before, but I never directly confronted him. But on this day, for some reason, I couldn't help but feel irritated by being ignored. "Hey, why are you ignoring me? Coming home smelling so good and acting all nonchalant?"
"Huh? Who are you talking to?"
No, it's not like that."
"Are you suspecting me of cheating or something?"
But that smell..."
"Shut up. You keep spouting nonsense without any evidence."
I was pushed by my husband and fell to the floor in recoil. Even my husband seemed momentarily remorseful, but he quickly returned to his usual expression and muttered,
"It's your fault,"
before storming off. To be blamed entirely like this? I shouted at my husband as I lay on the floor. "Enough already. How much longer are you going to justify yourself?"
"Huh? What did you just say?"
Even Ellie is working hard in university right now. Whether it's high school or university, since it's her decision to continue her education, isn't that good enough? At those words, my husband sighed in exasperation and glared at me.
"Jeez. You're a genius at getting on my nerves, aren't you?"
"Huh?"
"Your mere existence is unpleasant. Every single day you're just irritating."
"There's no need to put it like that."
"Shut up. If it weren't for the kids, I would have divorced you a long time ago."
At that moment, something that had been building up inside me snapped. It was the moment when I suddenly lost all desire to confront my husband. I just can't understand this person anymore. No matter what I say, he won't even try to understand. No matter how much I try to reach out, it's just impossible. I don't remember much after that. When I realized it, I had spent the whole night in the living room. I informed my daughter about my condition and stayed in the bedroom. Several hours later, I thought it was about time for my daughter to come home, so I reluctantly got up with my heavy body to start preparing dinner. But the conversation with my husband from last night flashed back, and I was overwhelmed with intense nausea. My strength drained away, and as I collapsed onto the floor, I faintly heard my daughter calling out to me in my fading consciousness. "Mom! Hey! Mom! Are you okay?" Ellie. "Pull yourself together, Mom! Come on!" How long has it been since then? When I woke up, a cream-colored ceiling unfamiliar to me greeted my eyes. Beside me was the figure of my daughter looking like she was about to cry. "Mom, I'm so glad you woke up." "Ellie, where is this?" "The hospital. When I came back from college, you had collapsed, so I called an ambulance. I was really surprised." "I'm sorry. I wasn't feeling well today." "Don't worry about it. But anyway, Dad isn't answering the phone. I called several times, but he doesn't pick up, even though it's ringing. I left a message, though." It's infidelity. I immediately became convinced of it. But I couldn't tell my daughter. When I suggested maybe he's working overtime, Ellie sighed, looking dissatisfied. That's when it happened. Ellie's phone began to ring loudly. "It's Dad." I asked Ellie to put it on speakerphone and answer the call. Ellie nodded slowly, took a deep breath, and spoke. "Hello?"
Maya, it's me."
"Huh?"
"Listen, I can finally marry you, Maya."
My husband's words made my daughter and me exchange looks. It seemed he had mistaken my daughter for his mistress on the phone. It's something one would normally realize right away, but my husband seemed completely oblivious to his mistake. Despite my daughter and I being speechless, my husband continued cheerfully.
"So I'm divorcing her. Maya, how about we start planning the wedding right away?"
"Divorce? Are you serious?" Despite Ellie trembling with anger, she desperately tried to respond to my husband's words. As if to trample on our feelings, my husband continued mercilessly.
"Of course. There's no point in staying married to such a cowardly woman. Besides, our daughter is already an adult, so it's fine, right?"
Mom collapsed from stress and was taken to the hospital, you know. Do you even understand?
"What's wrong, Maya? Why are you calling my wife Mom? Huh? What?"
"You finally realized it, Dad. You've been talking to your daughter this whole time."
"Huh?"
After letting out a foolish sound, my husband fell silent for a moment. Realizing everything, he began to shout,
"Wait,
and...
it's not what you think."
But before he could finish, my daughter hung up the phone. Ellie sighed heavily and scratched her head. Finally, the time had come to reveal the truth. "You see, Ellie, actually..." Just as I was about to speak, my daughter pulled out a large envelope and spread out a bunch of photos in front of me. They were all evidence of my husband's affairs. All of these indicate that my husband is in an intimate relationship with another woman. Ellie, why?" "You know, I've always noticed how you, Dad, would say mean things about you, Mom." "No way. As I grew up, I realized that something was off about your relationship, and that Dad was cheating. But the detective said I couldn't hire them until I turned 20. So it took me a while to gather evidence." "So, from way back?" "Yeah, as soon as I turned 20, I hired a detective and got the evidence. That's why I asked you that time, Mom, if you were happy now. If you were suffering, I wanted to help." "Ellie..." Yes, my daughter had already figured it out. She knew about the coldness in our relationship, about his infidelity, everything. Despite knowing all of that, she had respected my feelings and supported me until now. And when she realized I had reached my limit, she tried to help me with this evidence. Tears welled up in my eyes when I realized that. "Don't cry, Mom. I just want to help you." "No, it's not that. I'm just happy." "Mom, let's put an end to this. With this evidence, we should be able to get a favorable divorce settlement." I nodded vigorously at my daughter's words. Just then, the door to the hospital room swung open, and my husband, with a shocked expression, burst in.
"Ellie, about the phone call earlier, I didn't mean to—"
"She already knows, you know. We had the call on speaker, and Mom heard everything."
"What? What have you done?"
"Don't play innocent. You're the one at fault, yet you're blaming others." My husband's shoulders trembled at the sound of Ellie's yelling, which I have never heard before. My daughter roughly grabbed the photographic evidence she had just taken and tossed it to my husband.
What's this? Why do you have these?"
"Because your affair was crystal clear. I've always thought that. Mom shouldn't have to suffer anymore. I swore to myself that I would help Mom no matter what."
"Ellie, are you okay with this? If your mom and I divorce, what about your university tuition?"
"I can manage with scholarships. Living with someone like you is more of a negative for me. If you understand this, then never come near Mom and me again." My husband, seemingly taken aback by being so easily dismissed, grimaced, and then turned towards me.
"Can't you say something to help me out at this point?"
He's asking me for help even now? I clearly told him off. "You're asking me to say something to help you out? How am I supposed to explain anything to my daughter when I have no excuse? You're the one who cheated, betraying our family. Take responsibility for your actions."
Wait. I didn't mean for it to happen like this."
"Huh? Trying to justify yourself now? Ridiculous. Continuing a family with a man like you? Absolutely not. I've been patient, waiting until Ellie graduates from university, but I've had enough. From now on, I'm living my life for myself. You're not needed in that life. Never interfere with us again, you hear me?"
"Wait."
My husband stood there speechless while our daughter led him out of the hospital room. My daughter took his hand and escorted him out of the hospital room. Since then, my husband has been banned from visiting. After my discharge, I returned to my parents' house, visited a lawyer, and initiated divorce proceedings. Later, I successfully divorced Keaton. The evidence my daughter collected became our weapon, enabling us to claim compensation from my ex-husband and his mistress. The mistress was furious about the compensation. After paying, she easily discarded Keaton. Interestingly, the mistress turned out to be married too, and her husband demanded compensation from her. Rumors spread rapidly at work, leading to my ex-husband being relegated to a less favorable position. As for my daughter and me, we rented an apartment midway between my workplace and her university, living peacefully together. Though Ellie will soon be busy with her internship, I want to cherish our time together as much as possible. Someday, my daughter will also marry. At that time, I hope she chooses a partner who will truly make her happy.